Alright, hello. We're going to be doing a stream today that's going to be focusing on healing. So Madcap is running a maker hunt. This is one of the last days for pre-alpha for Stars Reach. And we're going to have some fun doing a maker hunt. So the focus for this is going to be healing. So we're going to kind of show off the healing gameplay in a group setting. So seems like we have a pretty good amount of people here. So it should be a lot of fun healing. I don't believe I have any abilities with this Helix, so it's going to be basically just healing, which is very much a type of Overwatch Mercy type healing where it latches on. It's quite a lot of fun, in my opinion, but you'll be able to judge for yourself and how the gameplay feels. So let's kind of see how this goes. These maker hunts are a lot of fun. It's good to see other people in the community kind of putting them together. 10% on the grapple. You really need to make sure that's repaired. And hopefully it doesn't break. Didn't break, because when you're below 15%, you have that chance of breaking your item. So always best to try and repair when it's above 15%. In the group already. It will definitely be nice once they get hard grouping in the game, so that you can more easily see people. And this is going to be a homie. Trying to dodge straight into the creatures like that, and you'll be able to survive from it. Back to healing. that's part of the healing side of things. So it does look, you can still heal. It looks like you lose, you can lose your beam while you're kind of dodge rolling. You know what? Actually, let's take a look at medical. So we'll call 255. Probably already got experience from it, but we'll call 255 for now. Set our relight station. See how everyone's doing. Looks like Travers needs a dance. Wounds on poison. I'm gonna real quickly share this Discord. So, like, doing this type of healing right here is getting you 0 medical experience. You need to be healing with aggro. That was likely given from poison when was healing her. You have to maintain some type of aggro, which kind of helps prevent players from just cheesing. You can still get around that by just allowing easier creatures to hit you, but also lower end creatures are also not going to give you much XP either. Still have a little bit of the aim seems to be a little bit off, but for the most part, it works pretty good. Do a check, 358. I think we went a little bit. Always having multiple healers is always kind of nice. This is actually, so the role I've played in MMOs forever is always the healing type role. So this actually may be one of the first times that I've actually specifically gone out and healed it in a while. So this is actually where I feel most comfortable and at home with, and I enjoy this game. Playing Starfleet definitely feels good. Obviously, there's some bugs with some of the healing, but that's kind of to be expected. Let's try and get a different angle on this. That was a lucky grapple. Did not even realize we had a ball hog behind us. good news is after this, you should have plenty of experience to be able to upgrade the Helix to be able to have the ability, but also pre-alpha is going to be done as of tomorrow, so won't really be able to get to show the cool abilities with Siphon and that kind of stuff. Right now, the makers have kind of a bug with them that you can bypass their shield. Healing experience from that because other people were hitting it. Creatures are a little bit more dangerous here because of the homing and them being purple. They pretty much will one-shot most people. If you have higher health, it's probably going to help a little bit, or if you're able to dodge a couple of their bullets, that's going to help as well. Right now, we'll kind of add a little bit extra damage until those ball hogs end up spawning back, which, again, when the makers, they're going to basically spawn those creatures every, like, 30 to, like, 120 seconds. So that's one thing that you need to kind of keep an eye on as that's happening, because that's what's going to cause wipes. And then as soon as the wipes occur, okay, that's done. So you can't heal wounds if it's outside of a camp. So just keep that in mind, because there are people with wounds. You can see they're not getting healed. So you can see that part of the health missing. The healing's not working. That means they have wounds, and you don't have to waste your battery at that point. That one's going to be a bit of a difficult one. Because the other thing you have with makers as well is while they have their shield up, you can't mine around them. So you can get the stuff around it, like around here, but to actually be able to get this, you would have to let this maker despawn. And once it despawns, remember where its spot is, and then start mining at that point, because you won't be able to get this completely out of its rock, and while it's embedded in something, you won't be able to see all of its nodes either, so you won't be able to hack it. Though right now, if you're able to get enough of it revealed, you can still bypass its shields with the bug, but for the most part, this would be a spot where you would just kind of let it despawn and kind of go from there. Because if you see, when you start trying to mine, you can't mine through its shield. So you have to mine around it to continue. But likely you have, with grenade launchers, you're probably still going to be able to do some damage through the shield due to the explosion damage. But likely that's going to be fixed. And again, reiterating, from the side of things, you're not getting medical XP, even though, like Travers just fell, I was healing him. I'm not getting medical XP from that side of things, because you have to maintain macro to be able to get healing XP. And so far for this maker hunt, I think we started around 250 and we're at 479. So 200 experience is a pretty good amount from the healing side. Healing is probably one of the hardest skills to get up currently in the game, because it requires you to 100% use another person. You can't get healing XP yourself right now. You have to get it, or medical experience, you have to get it with another person. Whereas like crafting, you can craft by yourself. Botany, you can pick plants by yourself, etc. So medical currently is one of the harder professions to try and get your experience. And as we look at this medical tree, you have this side of the house, which is the pharmacology side, which you're crafting pharmacology recipes. So health boosters will be here. You'll have emergency healer spray. So you'll have that side of the house, and then you have these healing specials as well. So your mass heal is an AoE heal. It does about, at base, it does about 70 per. So if you look, these heals do 18 per tick. Your mass heal would do roughly 70 to everyone within that area around you. You have Surge, which is going to remove status effects from characters. This is really useful for when players get caught on fire from creatures. Get rid of that fire before it ends up killing them. Siphon's one of the newer abilities the Helix has, which allows you, it's kind of like your vampire heal. It does damage to the creature, and it gives you health back. So kind of a fun ability, and then it kind of really allows you to kind of do that switch healing without actually switching off your Helix and then switching to a different weapon. So that's kind of nice, but I don't have enough experience to be able to unlock that right now, but the goal hopefully is from this Maker Hunt, we'll be able to unlock enough experience to at least unlock one of those. Let's see, where are they getting attacked? And so, like, you can see that dodge come up. If you dodge successfully, you'll know you dodged successfully. It gives you an iframe, so an invulnerability frame, which the invulnerability lasts for about 0.75 seconds, I believe the developers said. So you have 0.75 seconds of invulnerability, and you'll know you hit that iframe correctly because you'll have that dodge show up, the dodge words. So just seeing they've been able to at least do some of the damage based on that. So the lock-on works, like I said, fairly well. It's gonna work similar to your like Mercy Overwatch. It is a bit harder to maintain the lock the closer you are, so being able to maintain a distance is going to help you maintain it. Just like in other healing games, line of sight is also going to hurt you. And in this game, because everything is terraformable, you can kind of see how, like, well, actually this ground is actually fairly flat, but if you get stuck behind here, like, I can't lock on to Madcap, be behind this rock, or if I'm connected to him and then get behind, I lose that line of sight. So won't be able to kind of continue the healing from that side as well. Also, you'll see like some of these healths that have a little bit of health missing, those are likely going to be wounds. You can't heal through wounds. You have to dance to replenish those wounds currently in game. So that's one thing when you're looking at a character, just keep in mind, like, if you're healing them and their health is not replenishing, that's likely wounds. So don't waste your battery healing them. Keep an eye on other players that are going to actually be damaged. Let's continue and see what we can kind of go. Let's hope for a Maker on the ground so can see better healing gameplay. Because we just had a homing ball hog that really showed off some fun healing gameplay. Because as a healer, it's like dodging, healing. That's really some fun gameplay currently. There are some dangerous creatures on this planet, but we're probably going to need like some purples or reds with how big this group is to really cause any damage. And like with all this loot, if you're not pulling aggro at all, you're not going to get any loot either. So at least the game cares about healers in that sense, because a lot of games, it's healing is kind of an afterthought in my opinion. This game, you at least get something. It's just still a little bit harder because you have to maintain that aggro. So if the person you're healing is either very good at combat and just not taking damage, or you're healing someone that's not dealing enough damage, then you're not going to be able to pull any aggro. But there's been plenty of times where playing and like going after bosses or stuff like that, and as the healer, you're actually pulling aggro more than the damage dealer. So it's kind of nice to see from that angle of things. Ooh, there are some dangerous alligators there. Kill some of those, because this is going to take a while and my gun is not going to be able to deal damage through that shield. So we'll kind of just show a little bit of the combat side of things, just so we're not just sitting here. And kind of show off what kind of works with the dodging as soon as I get in a decent position. And you can kind of chain your grapples together, so third time's the charm. So that's what you get when you actually end up doing a dodge successfully. You'll have the actual dodge language come up. So let's see what we can do. But we don't have enough distance at that point. So one thing I strongly recommend players to kind of get used to is that dodging, because that's going to save your life. With some of these creatures that have that homing capability, one, if you only get hit by one, you're likely going to survive, but as you saw there, like, you're getting hit by multiple of those homing beings. So your only way you're going to end up surviving is through dodging all of them. So dodge that successfully, then start doing damage. Don't get hit by that. That's not a homing one. Now we need to actually move out of the way. Because his next attack is going to be a homing, dodge those. Okay. His next attack is not going to be a homing, so we can not worry about that. That's a homing, dodge that. Okay, we need to get away, and I missed that critical. And so, those, like, and again, these are red creatures. You're not meant to kill these by yourself. One thing I will show is, if you pay attention to the cursor, so right now you're at like 0, 90, 180, 270 degrees. When you get within range, it changes to 45 degrees. So out of range, in range, out of range, in range. So if I try grappling here, I'm gonna miss. If I grapple here, I'm gonna hit. So that's one thing. Again, it takes a lot of practice, because as you saw, like, I missed my grapple in the last battle and it cost me, because I ran out of battery and so forth. So you just have to kind of keep that in mind, trying to pay attention to it. Let's see. Again, they're still not any closer. So let's try doing this again. Try and get a little bit more distance right off the bat. There is another thing you can do. So actually, I have not tested it this patch, but you do have sneaking capabilities. Okay, let's let him kick it. Because I do want to show off the sneaking capabilities. Let's do this. Let's get a little bit out further, and then we'll show how the sneaking gameplay works currently in game. So it's not really your stereotypical stealth. Let's go around. But it will work to kind of safely get you around. Granted, it's going to be slower because you're sneaking, but the gameplay actually works. So let's try and find, and okay, so we have this Aldi here, so we'll pay attention. There's going to be an icon that pops up above his head that lets you know he notices something and he's paying attention. So let's get a little closer. And okay, so they're thinking. Okay, they're no longer thinking, so we can start moving again. They're thinking. We can move again. So this is like the beginning of the stealth kind of gameplay. This is also the Easter egg for taming. So you can end up slowly approaching the creature, which currently this last patch, I believe, introduced a bug that we can no longer tame them. But I believe come EA, that's supposed to be fixed. But that gameplay is essentially you're playing red light, green light, and you're getting closer and closer. And then once you get close enough to them, you'll get an option to then offer food. Each creature needs a different type of food to eat, and then you're able to tame them. So we'll get close enough to this owl deer so that we can do that. Granted, it's bugged, so we can't actually fully tame them, but we can at least. So now we're close enough to be able to offer the food. Oh, it is working. Okay, so let's go try. Jackalope doesn't seem to be interested in anything. So it actually may be working right now. But you do need to have food in your inventory that the creature would enjoy. Now, off the top of my head, I don't remember what each of them enjoy. But that'll be something I have to try out again. I mean, we'll have EA to try that out. But it's kind of one of those just fun things that some of the players figured out, that we could end up taming creatures, and they kind of more so just follow you around, but it's still fun. So let's try and get a little bit of distance. Let's hope for a maker on the ground so we can actually kill some people. It should be somewhere around here. Okay, so this is gonna be homing. So as you saw, like, there's just too many homing shots that if you don't dodge them, you're going to die. As you can see, looks like an orange, so that's not going to do as much damage. Okay, so this one should be a little bit more fun from a healing angle side of things. We still have our camp up there. Setting the camp, since I put that one down, 17 more minutes on that timer. Okay, we need to be careful there. Want to be careful not to line of sight myself, but also I want to kind of use some of this terrain to block the homing. So, because if they did do their homing attacks, being able to be behind this rock or something and then use that to actually block their abilities, that's also possible. So the nice thing about this game is everything's terraformable, so you're able to use terrain to your advantage as well. There's also time that terrain can also be a disadvantage to you. So one thing to keep in mind is a maker will despawn when there's no aggro applied to it. So one thing you should probably try and do is just do a little bit of damage to pull at least some aggro, so that if Madcap, who is the one who spawned this, dies, it won't despawn. Because in reality, you should be doing what Tosker's doing right there. You should be hacking these nodes. So you come up, you hack the anchor. You don't have to be consistently standing in one spot, but you do have to be next to it. If you deviate too far from it, you'll get a little message up here that says interrupted, and then therefore you won't be able to do it any longer. Alright. So this is when the most dangerous gameplay is going to end up being, is so Maker shield's down, and now it spawned its difficult creatures. So if the wrong people are dying, that's going to despawn the Maker. So you just did all that work with getting the nodes down, you don't want to die once the Maker shields come down. So that's where you kind of have to be more careful, but the Makers get more dangerous as well. They're going to spawn those creatures every like 30 to 120 seconds. So those are kind of the times where you kind of want to like almost take a breath, step back, make sure everyone's good, and then kind of go forward trying to take out the Maker. Camp's probably still good to stay here. Trying to see where we're going. Let's hope for not another one in the mountain. Yep, and another one in the mountain. Alright, well, we will be down here. So those ones just clean missed me, because even though I dodged, you didn't see that dodge language. Those ones were dodges. And so this is an example of, even though a lot of health is missing, those are going to be ruined, because none of his health is going up. So that's an example of he has wounds on him right now, which can only be healed via in a camp. Let's see. And you'll see like some of those pop up on the ground. So that purple one gives you speed and jumping abilities. So you can see they're jumping around a lot higher than you can. You also have red buffs, or red ones that will do explosion damage. You have a white shield that will give you invulnerability for a certain amount of time. And you have a green health buff that will heal you. Healing party. Not often that you see this many healers around at once. I mean, usually most games you're begging to find yourself a healer. There are a fair amount, especially on the GUNC side of things. We definitely, yikes, that was almost bad. We definitely have a couple of healers. That wasn't homing. So this attack should be homing. So the nice thing they did with this last update is they did an update on how the creatures work. And so basically the creatures, like a human would, they choose which abilities they want when they come out of that Maker. So some of them are the stronger they are, the more choices they can choose from, is what we've kind of been told. So not every Alfear is going to have those same abilities. You go to a different planet or a different Maker and they can have different abilities. So in my opinion, that's kind of the fun thing, because you have to strategize based on watching what they're doing. But then it's just like any type of like your raid bosses where they're going to have those patterns. So as you've seen with a lot of these creatures we're going against, they have those same abilities. They have, okay, maybe it's homing first, and then they have some type of AoE that they pull out. and then it goes back to homing. So once you develop that pattern, you can kind of prepare. Where some of them, it's like, I don't care if I'm super close to them, because with some of their AoE launching abilities, it doesn't matter as much, because they're more easy to kind of avoid. But when it comes to their homing abilities, I need range, because it's very difficult to dodge when you don't have as much room around you. So let's see if we can just, while they're doing that, see if we can find any other creatures to kind of engage with. Let's see, that's white. Yeah, so let's just go this way a little bit. And so a nice thing is, so you can change your grapple. You can shoot while you're grappling. So like, let me try and find. So if you end up, do I have that equipped? Yep. So you can end up shooting while you're grappling. So there's a, and you can, while you're healing, you can still grapple. So that's kind of a little fun thing to be able to do. You can still heal while you're dodging. So this is your red bomb. So does a lot of damage when creatures are around it. So that's an example of it's running into the terrain. So your whites are basically very easy. So anything with a white nameplate is going to be very easy, not dropping much loot, etc. So your typical like MMO colors are going to apply to this game. White and yellow are going to be fairly easy to go against. Once you start getting to orange, it's a little bit more meant for groups. But you can still 100%, you can solo any of them. If you're an experienced combat player, you can solo any of them. But for like your average player, orange is where you're probably going to start feeling that health increase. So they looked like that was about a quarter down. Once you start getting past orange and you start getting to reds and purples, that's where it's meant to be a group, because they put out information. It was in one of their patch notes, maybe like 5 patches ago, but they basically put something to the effect of red, you need to bring a group, purple, you need to bring a really big group. And I mean, I've seen purples take out 10 people, especially purple that have fast homing. Slowly people are getting more comfortable with the homing and knowing that they have to kind of dodge and kind of figuring out tricks to do it. Because if you notice, when I'm doing my dodges, I roll into the attack, which at least for me, that's been working very well, as opposed to like my brain normally would think to like side dodge. That does not seem to work as well. 6 minutes on that camp. And also for camps, to refresh this, I have to be actually at the camp, which I have my HUD disabled for. I'll real quickly turn that on. Nav points. So you can see where the camp is. So 215 meters, not going to go walk. That is a long way back. And just... So you can see also the grapple is down here in the bottom right. So, because the angle can't do this, but you can, let's see if I can do this correctly, jump off and then go that way. So, just have to be careful. And going to revive him. in just a second, or poison's going to. So that's just one thing that you have to be careful. Just because someone dies, don't go and revive them right away. You're just gonna get both of yourself killed. So another thing is you can see, so you have down here in the bottom left, you can see your battery. You also have, if you look to the left of the cursor, the bar that's going down, that also is your battery. So that's, having your battery right on your cursor is something I really enjoy, because I'm not having to constantly look down. So to set up a relight, you just hit G on that. So that way, now that set that relight pattern there, if end up dying, that is where you can choose as your last station and you can respawn there. And then say you don't want to respawn at the camp you chose, you also have the world station option, which that will revive you all the way back at the portal. Check what are, so 602, still not too bad. Okay, bread maker. So like some of this is going to be a prime example of most of these players are going to be pretty good at not taking damage. Okay, so hacking, let's try and do the other hack node. This one's going to be a little bit out of range, which, if you have a depositor, which thankfully Chase does, you can end up depositing just like he's doing to get up higher, which then you can come up here, get in range, start hacking. And again, let's see. And I just picked up an invulnerable. So, wouldn't have killed me anyway. So you can see the targeting still needs some work a little bit, especially if there's multiple people. But again, that's all stuff they're going to be balancing and fixing as we hit EA. That's some of the fixes there may get in. If not, it's going to be probably a few weeks, month in. I think we just reported it as bugs today to them, so it's still going to take some time. But you can see, like, if I want to try and target Chase, it's going to always hit poison right in front. So it's one of those things that ideally I'd probably like to see some type of prioritization. Like if someone's full health, don't target them if you're still in the same area. And each time when I'm switching targets, I'm having to go back on the stop holding the left mouse button. You can't just like change the angle and heal. Have a fair amount of range because like I was able to hit poison from this far away, so the Helix does have a fairly large range. Strikers up. What else do we have? Did not see that. currently revive them, obviously, but it does not give any experience. Raph was talking recently in the Discord that it may give leadership experience, which I know a lot of us players were saying that we think that reviving should be more on the medical side, because really, from a healer standpoint, reviving kind of seems like a support type role, which healing is definitely that more support type feeling. So I think I wasn't really paying attention. I thought that Maker's Shield was down. Yeah, okay, so it must have despawned while we were fighting. This is one of those things where poison, no. That's gonna be wounds. And you can only get down to 50% wounds. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And no loot. So again, some things that could probably be worked on. 718 experience, so slowly but surely we're going up. So we're trying to at least hit 900, because then once we hit that 900, we'd be able to unlock. Oh no, only 800. So we're almost there. So we'd be able to unlock either Mass Heal or Siphon. We're a little bit short on Klaatu, because you need the experience plus the Klaatu. But we would also have to go back to space, in the space station where the skill kiosk is to train it anyway, which we're not going to leave the group, because it would probably be a little bit difficult to find them again. But at least once we're done with this, if we have that 800 experience, we can easily go get that 80 Klaatu from just one mission if we want to, and then be able to call that a day, be able to get one of those abilities. I'd probably get Mass Heal just for the group capability, but Siphon is also really nice because it allows to do some healing. Trade. So they asked for a repair kit. I'm 90% sure. Whew. Okay, we can give them one. Save one for self. Granted. Pre-alpha's ending tomorrow, which they're going to be wiping for EA, so it doesn't really matter. Trade. No problem. So that's an example of trading. Really simplistic. Being able to trade with other players. Probably going to see a lot of that come EA, with how the recipes and the crafting works. A lot of what we were doing this patch, kind of preparing, is we were doing a lot of trading. So like my role that I'm playing is more the medical profession side of things, the pharmacology, the medical side. So I was getting recipes and ingredients. As you can kind of see, my ingredients are pretty full of med items. So all these that are light blue are going to be your med items. So I was pretty much stockpiling these. So I was taking med items from people we were trading, and then I was giving other people their own goods. So we have players that are cooks, we have players that are tailors, etc. Normal crafters, and that's kind of giving them their goods that they enjoy. So that's kind of like the interdependent side of Stars Reach, is working together to kind of be able to further the side of things. Alright, so 718, so 8 experience for that. So again, healing is a slow but sure increase. And again, if you don't have any aggro, you're not even going to be able to pick those up for the other players. Only people who had aggro at the time will be able to pick up those. And buff, when you're close, they will be able to work both ways. Both people will end up hitting them. Okay, so I'll give an example of what it looks like when you are interrupted. So if you walk a little bit out of range, interrupted. And so it will stop going and it will come back like that. So that's one thing that you just need to kind of keep in mind. You can move a fair amount, as you kind of saw. You can get a little bit of a distance away, which is really helpful, because if you're just standing still, you're kind of a sitting duck with how powerful some of these maker attacks are. Okay. Rare loot cache, common loot cache. So let's just open one of these so we can see what it gets. So let's do a rare one. So open, you get a recipe, and that you can check your recipe book. Need to clear your filter so you can actually see. See what poison wants to trade. Oh, magnetite. So, the one thing is, these planets, so how these planets are generated is they're generated. So, not every planet is going to have every resource. And the 4 planets we had, none of them have any chert, which can turn into magnetite, or any magnetite. Which magnetite is needed to make anti-gravium with antimatter, which anti-gravium is needed for grav meshes. So that's a material that is definitely wanted by players because it would allow us to craft our first grav meshes, which no player in this patch that we've seen has any grav mesh. So that 10 that Poison just gave me now brings us up to 20. We just need 5 more, and then we can bring that to a crafter, and we'd be able to get a grav mesh, or give the crafter the grav mesh. At this point, it doesn't really matter. It would just be fun to see someone with a grav mesh this patch. And the magnetite right now is just kind of random from the loot caches, so you pretty much have to work together for that. So that's just kind of an example of, okay, you're with a group of players, let's give someone the magnetite so that we can craft at least one grav mesh. Give it to the player that's going to benefit the most from using a grav mesh, and then slowly build out your material so that other players could then get their grav meshes. So this game really shows how teamwork can really help, because you're not just talking teamwork from a combat side of things, you're also talking teamwork from a crafting side. Every aspect of this game really relies on the interdependence between players. So that's something that is important to the pillars of the game. So while you can 100% play the game solo, it's definitely going to take more time. So even though you can see I can hack it, but immediately it shows interrupted. So, oh, maybe not. And camp is too far away, so we're going to see if someone can revive. Alright, let's try this again. Probably if we can get on that. Okay. So close. Yeah, it's not going to, unless you keep jumping. Yep. Okay. That is pretty much everyone's dead. So let's try and clear these so that we don't wipe. And so you saw the maker despawn right there. So that's an example of aggro's gone. Let's see. We're just gonna respawn, see where we are. All the way back at the portal. That kind of stinks. But the benefit is we can see where our death marker is, so 680 meters away, so we can at least see that so we can get back. But that's why camps are very important to kind of have down. Else, when you have something like that, now you're making the long trek, or someone's making the long trek back to the body so that you can revive the other players. Because likely the other ones are probably staying in their body. So slowly but surely make this trek across. That was out of range. So that's why the curse is just so important, like, especially when you're talking about a missed grapple in combat right now. Will likely end up in your death, especially when homing's involved. So that was one of the better quality of life changes. Have people back alive. And someone put down a camp. Oops. Alright, do is Madcap here? Yep, he is. So he would be able to reveal the maker. We have a bioscanner as well, but probably going to wait till more people come. You know what? I can't remember if I set my own device, so I'm gonna check that again, because I really don't want to make that track. Also, if I don't pick that up, let's see. So, I would lose all. Ooh, yikes, magnetite. So, that's a good example that if I didn't pick up that marker, that magnetite I got traded would be gone. If I died a second time without picking it up. So, that's a really good example of just because you traded someone. I think we were in a camp. So when you enter a camp, you'll see state of your belongings is saved. But if you're in a camp, that doesn't save you. So if I walk out of here, you didn't save anything at that point. It only is on entering a camp or a homestead or something of that nature that it will actually save it. where the nodes are. Looks like we have a close one. This is very dangerous being this close to the maker, but they got it with the shield. Looks like people need some dances. Now we have the purple button. It's like, I hope they revamp the healing just a little bit, because it's like hoping as a healer for people to take damage is kind of counterintuitive to healing. You'd rather them stay at full health. That's kind of showing that you're doing an actual good job. I don't think they've really done too many passes on healing. But I would definitely like to see where you're not hoping as the healer for people to take damage so that you can get healing experience. That doesn't seem to be intuitive in my mind. Let's see. Sometimes you have to hit them for the... There we go. That's where it is. Somewhere over here. Attacking. Let's try and dodge through that. Didn't even need to. Shields down. And then get out. Because again, more important, you don't die after the shield comes down, and then can start doing damage at that point. Just keep an eye on people's health, so we can try and get some experience if needed. I personally like to see some more. So like for combat, we have assault rifles, we have sniper rifles, pistols, and they're talking about having shotguns before EA launches on the 18th. It would be really nice to... Oh, and they also have grenade launchers as well. We have one healing tool. I would definitely like to see, in the near future, be able to have something else. Healing grenades, something of that nature. Kind of like how in like SWTOR you had characters that could throw healing grenades. Something like that I'd like to see, personally, from Stars Reach. Something other than having just the helix, so that way you could switch between them. Because like right now, as a damage dealer, I could have, so this is a kinetic assault rifle, I could have the kinetic assault rifle and a fire assault rifle, because depending on which element these creatures are, they have a weakness or a strength. So doing damage to something that's fire with something that's fire, you're going to do less damage, and they're going to be immune to burn if you're using a fire weapon and they are a fire element. So that's just something to keep in mind. Being able to switch your weapons based on the creatures you're going against is useful. Or you could use an assault rifle and a sniper, or you could have an assault rifle, a sniper, and a grenade launcher, so you could really have whatever weapon is best for the situation. Right now, you just have the helix. That's what you have. So there's no situational, like, oh, it'd be better if I can do some hot healing instead of just your direct healing. There's no AoE type healing that you can really do. You can use abilities, but outside of that, there's not really anything you can switch like a combat player can. But again, more players are playing combat, so it makes sense that they're going to get the combat stuff in first, and then eventually get more of the healing side of things in. We do have shields. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure someone here has a shield. If it pops up again, I'll make mention of it. But there are shields in the game. They're just a little bit harder to craft, but they can be fairly useful. That one's being attacked by them. The other one is over here. Some more. Keep that one. Yeah. So another thing I'd also probably recommend to players is the default for your dodge is control. Control is not easy for me to hit, so you do have the ability to remap to whichever button fits you best. So that's in, I believe it's game controls. Let's see, dodge is going to be toggle crouch. So your dodge is toggle crouch, because if you're not moving, it crouches you. If you're moving and you hit it, it will dodge you. So I have it set to 1 because I have an MMO mouse. So that's super easy for me to hit the 1 key on the side of my mouse. And I just refined the tool belt 5, which you can see that down there. That's why it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5, 2, 3, 4. So that's just the way I rebound my keys, because dodging is so important that if you leave it on control, you really need to be able to use control to do that. Alright, let's find where that node is. Looks like that's getting hacked. Okay, that was it. So some of these lower makers, like your low makers, won't even have shields at all. Your reds, they tend to need 1 to 2 hack points to be hacked, sometimes 3. Your purples are usually 3 to 4. That you need to hack. So again, just with the color creature difficulty, it's same with makers. They get more difficult the higher their color is. So just keep that in mind. Your purple makers, so again, just like with creatures, it is possible to solo a purple maker. It's going to drive you crazy, and you kind of need some of the correct positioning. You may need to get the maker to despawn a few times to get better node placement, but it is possible. Multiple players have done it solo, so it's possible. It's just not necessarily... It's a good challenge. So if you like a challenge, I recommend trying to go after a purple maker, and see how well you can kind of do. Red makers are also very difficult to go after, but again, they're easier than purple, and reds are a little bit more easy. Like that one, with that node placement and only 1 you had to hack, very likely a solo player would be able to do that. Again, you're going to have to know what you're doing combat-wise, but it's at least, for someone who knows what they're doing combat, you're going to be able to solo a red maker. Purple, that's going to be a bit harder, but it's a fun challenge. Let's see where make sure to set this. so I just line of sighted the healer. Alright, purple maker. So we're gonna kind of sit a little bit back on this one and let them hack the nodes. Because people aren't going to be taking damage with this purple maker. So again, dodging into the bullet works out a lot better, in my opinion, than anything else. You know what? For funsies, I'm gonna have macro scat that we can heal a little bit more. Make it a little bit more interesting. Servers are going to be wiped in a couple days, or tomorrow anyway, so. They are getting stuck on those trees though, aren't they? So another technique also, which actually, I think this character does, let me just double check. Brown. No, it does not have it. So another thing you could do is you can plant trees, and you do have the capability of climbing trees. Not that specific, but this one should work. So you can plant the tree right next to one of the nodes that's in the air, and you can still hack a node while you're attached to a tree. Really. So that's a really good strategy, because depositing, it costs a lot of material to deposit into the world. So using your trowel and planting a tree right next to a node, and then using a pruning shear to then grow that tree so it gets full height, that's a lot easier to use as a hack node. Let's see, okay, that one is over there. Go take a look. So, okay, so tree that's gonna let me attach onto. But actually that tree would be in a perfect position to get that this tree I think can attach onto, but I'm gonna be out of range, yeah. But that's kind of a prime example of if you had the trowel and you could plant, which I think Poison may not be with us anymore. Okay, so they respawned it, and now we have different spawn points. constant jumping and we can get it done. So that kind of just shows you right there that the maker nodes, the interrupt is not immediate, so you probably have a slight grace period for it. Not too bad for that one, but did more damage. Let's give a dance. I should probably be on general and not be on information so I can actually see when people are talking. So another thing is if you're in the information tab and you start trying to like say something, you won't be able to. So just keep that in mind. General, your information's good because again, when you drop your, when you die, you'll see what items you dropped like this. And again, you die again without picking it up and it's gone from your first one. All right, looks like we're going to be continuing. So this is gonna just be a den it's going after. So this is an example of a really weak type of maker. But you still get some materials from it, so that's what's kind of important. We're probably going to be wrapping up this stream at the hour-and-a-half mark, which will be in a little bit, but we'll probably continue maybe a little bit longer, depending if they keep on going with the hunt. Well, this is a nice little flat land. I'm going to put a camp down. So this won't give us much room if we need to do some dodging, so we're going to kind of do our jumping trick. And that one's hacked. Let's see where the other node is. Dodge that. Almost die. Where's that other one? Ooh, that's going to be off. Know that that one's already been hacked. Let's use terrain to our advantage. Yeah, that's going to be... Yeah, that's going to need a depositor. Likely you could have still done the jump trick for, This one over here, you will not be able to. Which someone has there, I believe. Oh, we did not have to take down each of them. See where we are going to go next. Everyone's danced, which means everyone's gonna be healed. Let's see if we're gonna continue or if people are gonna call it. Let's jump, make sure, land our grapple, and let's want to take damage. Definitely kind of looking forward to when the creatures get a little bit more difficult. The people who are more used to the combat side of things, there are some challenges, especially with some of the bosses. But still, you have a group of 10 people, and there's really not going to be a super challenge currently. As they continue to do more balancing and stuff like that, you're going to see more difficult creatures come about. They're talking about adding the cornucopia. That's in the works right now, so that will be kind of fun to see. That one's going to be a stuck one. So that's going to be basically grenade launchers hitting it. Don't believe my gun can do damage through the shield unless I use my ability. No, even with that, I don't think it does. But hitting the shield should maintain some type of aggro. release my camp, so I won't be able to put another camp down for another 18 minutes unless I go manually and release it, which I'm not gonna go and do. But you would just right click on it and there would be a I think it's like release camp or something like that. You lose it when you release the camp, but at least right now they're not too difficult to make, and really at this point it's one of the main crafting recipes to start grinding your crafting XP. See if we're gonna continue doing some more stuff. So much just took some damage. So, I mean, you can get about that far in range. Not too terrible. Doesn't look like there's a maker around here. Oh, actually, maybe there is. Is a maker. Looks like they may just be trying to terraform some stuff. See if we can go find this maker. Going to be in the mountain. It looks like it keeps turning us around. Let's see if they're doing what I think they're going to try and do and collapse that. So they're going to cut that down hypothetically because there's nothing holding that up. That should fall a little bit just because everything in the world is going to be it's everything simulated. So if nothing's holding that up, that's going to fall. Curious to see what that kind of ends up looking like, and we'll see potentially soon because it looks like they're almost done with that. So we're gonna actually, yep, there we go. And looks like multiple people died. Their bodies are below there. So that was a fun little being able to see what happens when things fall down. So that's the adhesion system at work right there. So there's nothing to adhere to, so you're going to see that end up falling. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's one of the things I really love about about this system. Everything is simulated, which makes for some very fun capabilities. So there's a lot of fun you can do with that part of the system. Players have tried to take out entire swaths of land, and tried to drop the map at one point. Like, this is probably a year and a half ago, and they were definitely successful for a portion of it, where they basically dug out, I think it was about a quarter of the map, and that part of the map just dropped. So it's really interesting to see that type of gameplay come about. This one wouldn't be as crazy of a drop, I don't think. But let's see what happens. So, again, a partial collapse on that side of things. And you don't always have to flash dance. Also, there are multiple other dances that you can do, and they just recently added this as well, so it's much easier to do different emotes, and you don't have to remember all of them. And then you even have some moves, so like, let's do adventurous, and then let's do just normal dance. Dances adventurously. So there's a lot of possible emotes that you can do along with the moves. I don't remember what that does. I think it's just a move, but it's spoken. And then if you want to get rid of your mood, because right now I'm adventurous, so everything I do will be adventurously done. So I clap adventurously. If I want to get rid of that, you change it to default. And then now back to normal, so then I just will dance normally. So from an RP side of things, that's a lot of fun, being able to do that kind of stuff. So just some fun little things that they're adding. I know GUNC, we're definitely wanting to step up the RP side of things. Once we hit EA, we're still working out some of our plans for where we're going to build, what we're going to build, but feel free to join our Discord, because that's where we're going to be talking a lot about our future plans for once we go EA. We're also going to be, once we start hitting EA, with all the new crafting recipes, possibly new creatures and stuff like that, we'll be spending a lot of time also updating our website, gunc.org, GUNC.org. That's where we have a lot of tools that help with item crafting, helps with, we have a skill tree calculator, so you can go through all the skills, because as we can see, let me get off of this before I end up dying. But there's a lot of skill trees now. So a lot of these are kind of broken up. Like, you'll have some of these that are work in progress, so they're not in the game yet. But you can kind of just start to see how many skills there are, and you only have 80 skills you can choose from. So like, you want to try and be all assault rifles, well, you just cost 20 right there. 20 skill points. You want to also then do grenade launcher as well. The skill tree's even larger. So between those two alone, you're already at half your skill points that are allotted. Now, they're going to still be balancing this type of stuff, so not set in stone, but just keep that in mind. Cooking, again, you're going to have a fair amount of stuff, because like right here, what's that, 6, so 24, 26, 28, 32 skills, so you're over a third of your skills allocated just from cooking alone. So this gets back to the idea of interdependence. You are not meant to do everything yourself. This is a game where you should have people, like, for crafting a weapon, the items you will need to craft a weapon will touch many of the different professions. You may need a grip from a crafter. You may need a, I forget what some of the other item names are, but you'll need that maybe from an armor smith that creates like the metal plate or something of that nature. So there's a lot of, let's see. All right, let's see. Oh, looks like we're back to maker hunting. Baby Okay, looks like this is probably going to be a purple maker. It looks like we have some difficult features, so let's see if we can make use of some healing. Sphinx, and someone literally put a camp down right there, so we're going to need to get revived. Unless going to walk a fair distance. Which thankfully they lost aggro. So the healing should be fairly easy to do. And then definitely going to do that. And then start healing up everyone once they come back alive. Let's check our healing. So we are so close to the 800 that we need. So again, we're either trying to go for mass heal or siphon. So very close. So let's hope with this maker, with going after this maker right now, that we'll be able to gain a little bit of extra experience that we need. So fingers crossed. Again, gonna have to try and target the people who are taking the most damage while maintaining some type of aggro. Kill some of the people. This should be able to get us some of our, that just saw the healing XP pop up, or the XP pop up, so that should have been enough to get us the healing XP we needed. Do a quick check, 832, yes. So we will finally be able to get our max in just in time for the reset. This one should be hackable without having to do our jumping. Just need to make sure to stay close enough so that we don't get interrupted. This one looks like we're probably gonna have to do our little jumping trick. Halfway. That one got hacked. So, just another trick you can do while you're doing the maker hunt. As long as you're going, that interrupt has a slight delay. So as long as you're consistently activating that hack, you'll be able to do it. Right now, Striker is low on health, or missing health, but because he has wounds, you can't heal him. You can only heal wounds via dances. So we can come over here. You have to dance in camps. So we can come over here, end up doing a dance here, and that will heal them. Alright. Oh, down here Madcap is. Let us go join him. Heal going. Do a little bit of aggro on the maker, so if somebody dies, get chased back up. Again, you can still maintain your healing connection while dodging. Actually, should be a fair amount of healing XP. Just check 888, so going up. Again, healing XP is a little bit more difficult just because you have to get aggro for healing XP to count. Alright. Jumping again, so literally each of these times that G pops up, I'm hitting G. So that way, there we go. Shield down. So again, once the shield goes down, that's just the first step. Depending on their spawn rate or how quick you're killing it, it's going to spawn other creatures. So thankfully we got that one down before it started spawning the other creatures. So 2 rare loots, 1 common loot. And we almost got 100. I think we may have gotten over 100 actually for that battle. So not too bad, but as you can see, a lot easier to get assault rifle experience, because all you have to do is damage and get that kill. So, or assisting for that kill. So, a lot easier to go that route currently from an XP side, but also your healing tree is a lot smaller than your assault rifle tree. Madcaps and just see what they're doing. Looks like they may be repairing. That's a good idea. Well, I only have 1, so I need to be careful not to use my 1 unless I absolutely need to repair something, because I don't want to end up running out of something. Go orange. So I mean, this could go either way. It could be a red one, it could be a purple one, and really it could be an orange one, but more often than not you're gonna see orange creatures spawning from at least a red, at least so we got a red one. This one may be just out of jumping. It's gonna help. Let's try to get this one. So hacking this one. Remember, we just have to stay within range of it, so we can still move around. Another one is over there. They're hacking that one. Not complete though, so they left their range. And there we go. So we only had to take out 2 to get that one down. so a little bit of a cheap kill XP, but that's something just to kind of look out for, to try and get just that little bit of healing XP, because every little bit counts. And there, attack this. That's going to be really low. Oh, that wasn't good. The camp that was linked to must have been dead or pulled up. This one's at least much shorter than the one earlier. But some of this terrain is a little bit to navigate around. And that one, of course. Gonna have homing, so need to make sure to dodge. And so, because no aggro is maintained, it's gone. No XP. So just to kind of show that just healing someone who's just low health with no damage happening is not going to net you any XP. So we know this maker has homing capabilities, which just makes it that much more difficult. Which is why this... okay, good. It's gonna have to move. Dodging those. Looks like I'm no longer aggroed, which is nice. So I can try and get back to where I was able to do this. Kind of doing the little jump trick. Just need to make sure maintaining it. Okay, so this is actually kind of perfect. So, cat is now an endangered resource, so now an edict's out. So that means the cats are now close to going extinct on the world. So, if we take out another maker that is spawning cats, that's going to bring servitors to the planet. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. We've played around with them in the past. Having you like one or two of these servitors coming at you aren't going to be that difficult, But having like 30 of them coming at you, that's when things kind of get more challenging and a lot of fun. But you pretty much have, it's kind of like a bounty system where you get marks each time you're attacking something, and stuff of that nature. And the higher level you get, the more servitors are going to spawn at that time. So just kind of like a fun system to kind of be aware of. And then if you do actually wipe them out, they will no longer spawn on the planet, so you will drive species extinct. So you have to kind of weigh that, because some of these creatures may spawn hide, or they may spawn items that you need, so destroying them could be problematic for you. So I think we are going to call it at that, and call it a night, but appreciate everyone hanging out on the stream. Hopefully you kind of learned a bit about healing and seeing how that kind of works in a group. Healing is a lot of fun in this game. We weren't able to show you the abilities, but you can at least see how you would end up going about and getting that unlocked. This is going to be the last stream until EA hits, but we will definitely be streaming when EA happens, so keep an eye out for that, and we're going to have a lot of fun when EA comes. So hope you have a great rest of your night. Thank you. Bye.